We should be live. How y'all doing today? Today we just gonna have another rundown of what Jill's gonna be doing when she comes to our house in December, and we'll let her get a little more into depth on some of the things she's gonna try. And first, let me go ahead and introduce our panel. Of course, I'm Carl, Louisiana Swamp Ape. This is Rachel. Jill, we have Jill Miller from A Team Paranormal, and we have the lovely and talented Miss Daniela Iolo from Bigfoot Odyssey. How
Hello.
are y'all doing tonight?
You're
All
good.
right.
Good. All right, Jill. I guess you're the main attraction here. We
Woohoo.
told everybody we told everybody that you were going to come do a week long investigation, and I've sent you pictures, sent you videos, sent pretty much everything we had, and some we haven't even published on our YouTube channel. So let me ask you, get right to the point. In your opinion, you've been doing this long enough. What do you think we have going on here? Tell everybody.
I think you definitely have something going on. I think it's a Bigfoot. I don't think it's a Rougarou or the skunk ape. This thing is from the video that we have worked with. It's too tall. It's too big to be one of the other two. So it has to be. It has to be some type of Bigfoot. I mean, and even the eye shine as it's walking.
Hmm.
It's like it's 8 to 9 foot. Above the 3 foot, 2.5, 3 foot above the 6 foot fence line. So I believe that's what's going on. I mean, the sound, the sounds and everything else. Of course, when I get there, I'll be able to see and smell the other things you've told me about that I can't,
Hmm.
can't see from here real good and get a good image. But I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. And you're gonna have to go walk that cooler with me. So
Yeah. Well, we can definitely do that.
yeah.
And I don't mind going, with a bunch of people, but I'm not going by myself. If y'all want to go, we'll go. But so yeah, from everything I've heard, what we call what they call a skunk ape, or for us here in Louisiana, a rougarou is a lot smaller than the Bigfoot,
Yeah.
and supposedly they're a lot meaner. But from what you've told me and what Ross has brought out in those videos, and other people have said, this thing looks to be 8-9 foot tall. So that would
Yeah.
almost put it like almost in a traditional Bigfoot type, range.
Yeah.
So I hope we can get some better evidence. A lot of people have suggested, hey, can you do this? I was telling you about one guy told me, why don't you buy a drone with a FLIR on it? It was, carry on those what that's going to cost, because he's just bought one, or he's going to buy one. You're talking about a $20,000 piece of equipment.
Yep.
I'm not doing that. Not when you have all the equipment.
Yeah. I've got probably, I've got a lot of equipment. I don't have a drone. One of my guys has a drone that they play with sometimes. I don't use them, but I don't have the big FLIR camera, but I've got the FLIR that goes on top of the phone, and they
Mhm.
actually do work very well. It's a little extent. It's a the FLIR camera, the lens, it plugs into your iPhone, and
Okay.
then your camera and your video on your iPhone becomes it shows the heat signatures.
Right.
So now I am going to be using that. I found a FLIR camera that's FLIR and full spectrum video camera, and it's a smaller one that was only about $400. I may buy that one before I come, but I'm not going to have one of those big ones. I'm not going to have a $20,000 drone, but I do have thousands of dollars worth of equipment, so it, it has to come in spurts.
Well, like I told you before,
Go Tigers!
and
Sorry.
you know, we everybody, from what we can tell, they can see infrared. They can identify infrared. We don't know if they actually can see the infrared, or they hear the batteries in game cameras. That's why you don't catch a lot of them on game cameras. But I'm a lean on Daniela for this one, because she's done I don't know, probably 1,000 shows with Carrie. Just give her a little background on the game cameras and the IR lights, Daniela.
Well, I mean, what do I know? They don't seem. They seem to deter. They seem to deter them, don't they? People use them to keep them away. So obviously, they seem to be having some sort of effect. I really don't know why they're managing to avoid them or how they're doing it. Um, I really don't know. Yeah, I
I
wish I,
mean, I I guess common wisdom would, suggest that, they can see the light. Everybody talks about that extra cone they have in their eye, and which of course some other animals have too. And I think there's something to it. I don't know what it really is, but I told you, like I said, I told Jill about it, and she says she has some cameras that she can use that kind of disguise the infrared light. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Jill.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's lens covers for the cameras. So my night vision cameras and microphones, they're wired, so there is no motor or anything inside of the camera. The camera just has the wire coming back to the DVR, and so is the microphone. So it's not action mode or motion detected. It's going to be set in one place, but there's no sound at all that comes from this mic or camera. So that's a good thing. And then I found some lens covers. They were made for the iPhone 11 when that camera first came out, um, and so there are lens covers, and you won't be able to see even with that the same vision with that cone like owls and stuff have. You can't see the IR from from the outside, but it doesn't affect the quality of the picture. So
Right.
I'm going to try those to disguise and hide the IR light so you can't see it.
the only
Okay.
thing I can think of is that there's some reflection off that lens. Is the only thing that they pick up on
Mhm.
because there isn't a lens there ultimately, no matter how small it is,
Mhm.
and whether or not they can see that. But also maybe the attachment to hunters, guns, and trail cams. Who's to say that they don't attach these things, whatever's coming off it, to being a threat? Maybe
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Just ideas.
That's what I think. I think that they're because their voice seems to have this reverberation, this electronic boom, not boom kind of sound.
Yeah.
So
Metallic.
right. So I feel like I'm thinking that maybe they might be picking up what's coming off of that because those cameras, they also you got to think too. They click off and on. Those
Hmm.
field the trail cameras and deer cameras and stuff. Which is why I don't use them in paranormal investigations because by the time it clicked on, whatever is there would be gone if it's a spirit. They move too quick. So that's why I don't use them. But it's clicking off and on. So that too, I think they can hear that and they can feel that energy coming off of it. I think.
Now you bring up a good point. What is the difference between, was it paranormal and supernatural?
Supernatural?
Because before now, I always thought it was the same thing.
No,
Explain that to us.
paranormal is more dealing with spirits and you know demons and things of that nature, things that are deceased pretty much. And then supernatural, of course they do coincide sometimes because we've done investigations before and the problem would be elementals. Well, elementals is kind of a supernatural, it crosses the line to supernatural, but you can't see them either, so it goes to the paranormal as well. But supernatural are mostly like the cryptids and stuff, things
Hmm.
and aliens and extraterrestrial things. That stuff is more werewolves, vampires, you know, elementals, and wakes, all the cryptids. That's supernatural. It's things that it's outside of just being human. It's
Well, and one of the questions I got when we first started doing this is like, well, what do people think? When they you tell them about this, and I think in any other state, they probably would have thought we were loony, and probably some people do. But I mean, growing up here in Louisiana, we had the legend of the Rougarou.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, so I think it wasn't a far fetched thing for people around here. You said, man, I think I might have a Rougarou in my backyard that's coming to, I guess it was more believable here than anywhere else. And they do have accounts of these things. I mean, going back to the 1400s here,
yeah,
so it's everybody always thought these things were in Washington State, California, and I think they're everywhere.
right. I do too. I don't think. I mean, Louisiana's it's a breed unto itself. Our state's different than any other state. There's a lot of belief in different things. They got voodoo and they got hoodoo and they got all that stuff. So we grew up with all these beliefs. We believe in this stuff because we probably witnessed it. I know I have. So they're a little more open minded in Louisiana. In South Louisiana, though, Carl, that's South Louisiana. If you go to North Louisiana, they probably feel like some other places. But I think every state, you is different. You have people that either are open minded or they're not, and being in the Bible Belt may affect that as far as South Carolina and Tennessee and Kentucky and stuff. So I think that anywhere people can look and say that they're just not open minded. They don't want to. They don't want to. We don't understand it, so they don't want to know about it.
Right.
That's my opinion.
And I think people around here are less, and you can go to the Bigfoot, I think it's a Bigfoot research organization map. And like Carrie Arnold says, it's a big hole over Louisiana and Mississippi. And it's not because people aren't seeing these things. It's because people aren't reporting. He didn't report his sighting. I didn't report mine. What do you go? Who do you report it to? If you call the fish and game, they're gonna tell you it's a bear
Yeah,
because like Carrie says, if they don't know about these things, they not doing their job.
that's right.
Because if I had these things and other people had these things walking around in their backyards and neighborhoods and anywhere else, casinos, eating out of a dumpster in a casino, and they have to know about these things. I mean, I believe the government does too. It's just I don't know what the big hangup is. Why they don't want to just come out and say, "Hey, look, they're here. Deal with it." We have to make room for them, just like we do the black bear. Growing up where we grew up, a lot of black bears. If you kill a black bear with a core, you have to call a coroner out to pronounce the bear dead, right? Because it is an endangered species. So if you can do that for a bear, why can't you do it for these creatures?
Well, I'll give you an example of a couple of things that I've run into. And please know that anything I say, I don't, these are not my beliefs. These are just, it's all theory. And these are things that I've learned dealing with people. And this is not to insult anyone whatsoever. Uh, I'm gonna go through the first one. A is religion. And, if it's not something, that in the Bible God created, which is the animals and the people, then those people don't want to look at, and that's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. That's their belief. But they don't want to look at, there could be something else out there that they don't know of that was created by God. Do you know what I mean? So they
Mm-hmm.
they stay in that, they stay, and that's fine. That's, I think you should live your life however you're comfortable and you feel that you're on the right road. And I am a Christian. I will tell you that I'm a Christian. But I've seen too much, and I know that there are things out there that we weren't told everything. There are other things out there. Another thing is, if you can't, and I find this to be the biggest reason. If you can't, or the second biggest reason, if you can't defend people from it or yourself from it by just beating it up, then you don't want to admit that it exists. Because here's something that exists that you may not can protect yourself from, or may not can protect your family from, so they don't want to know about it. Don't. It's easy. It's easier to say that's not true. That doesn't exist. That way they don't have to deal with the fact there may be some things out there that you need to learn to live with that you don't have to beat up. You don't have, just because it's different. So that's another thing. People don't want to look outside that scope. They don't want to feel fear. They don't want to feel fear from something they don't know.
Right.
Um, So that's another thing. And then the third thing, and this I think is probably the biggest reason, people are raised to reason away everything and to rationalize everything. If you
Yeah.
hear a noise, you're growing up and you say, "Oh, mom, I heard a noise. Oh, it was just this," right? Because they don't want you to be afraid. So your brain is a muscle. It starts to work that way, and so that's what happens. That's why we do like investigations. Anything we find, we take it to the people in video and audio, and have them listen to it and watch it over and over again. And they're there. They were there at the time of the investigation. If they're watching it and they're hearing something they didn't hear then, and now they're hearing it, or seeing something that they can't, that didn't just go by in a flash and you can't bring it back, and watch it over and over and over again, your brain starts to retrain itself, and people start to open their minds to what could be out there, because you're you know it's not just something that we buy in a second and you go, oh, I thought I saw a shadow out of the corner of my eye. Well, now you have a video watching the shadow move with nothing causing it, and you can watch it again and again and again, and your brain starts to believe there's other things going on, instead of rationalize everything like we're taught to do from our parents, so we don't fear things.
Okay, we're gonna take a few questions, and people offering suggestions. I know you, like you said, you have your own game plan, but
Oh no, I want suggestions from people.
well, this is Clayton Campbell. He he's gonna be part of that expedition with Carrie. They're going down to an undisclosed location in Florida, and they're gonna spend a whole week in the swamp. They're gonna try to get one of these things on camera, and I think they can do it. I really do. But if they have crystal clear footage of one walking across and just walking behind a cypress tree, I still don't think that's going to convince anybody. What's going to convince everybody when everybody sees one, and then you're going to have no doubt in your mind. Somebody's going to say, "No, you saw a bear." You're going to say, "Oh no, it wasn't a bear." They're going to say, "Oh, you saw this." No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Uh, that's when the whole truth will come out, and nothing but the truth, because you're not going to be able to explain it away. If I tell somebody, "Hey man, I think I saw a Bigfoot," they're going to say, "Well, you're crazy." But when he sees a Bigfoot, he might come back to me and say, "Hey man, you remember that time you told me you saw a Bigfoot? Well, guess what? I saw one too." I think that's going to solve the problem. But anyway, let me ask this question. I would love to see y'all set up a thermal imaging scope 100 yards away, pointing towards the fence line. Chill, can you do that?
I don't have a thermal imaging camera that will go that far. It's going to be more like, I would say more like 40 foot.
Well, that's perfectly fine because
And that's all I
and
need really for the
yeah,
size. Yeah.
in the parameters of our backyards, that would be plenty.
Yeah. So it's not
Especially, that one spot that you
yeah,
got the where they like to hang out.
yes. Yeah. So that's fine. I do have the thermal imaging camera. I'm just not gonna. It's just not a super high unless I buy that other one. If I buy that new one, it's gonna be more powerful, but we're still not gonna need it that much space. And
Right.
I think maybe his point. I don't know. Correct me if you're wrong. Maybe his point is put it so far away that it won't notice it. Maybe
Hmm.
his point. Put it 100 yards away, maybe. But if that's the case, I've got those. I've got the protector that I've got that screen protector thing that I bought that you shouldn't be able to see reflection or IR lights or UV lights or anything. So yeah, so
Well,
that was it.
and one of the things I thought about too, about coming is one day if we have enough time, we can actually get in the boat and go in the swamp.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to do that.
Yeah.
And I need some boots because I don't have my boots no more. It's been a long
Yeah.
time since
You
I
better.
lived there. I don't have my white rubber boots no more. But yeah, I want to get out there for sure. Especially where you saw, where we think it might be coming from. It seems to come from a certain direction. All the time
Hmm.
it goes back that direction. And I'd like to find another footprint, I mean,
Right.
that's awesome.
I thought could be interesting is having a camera that isn't where any normal camera is, having it low to the ground. Because I think if you can pick up a strange pair of legs and feet, that's
Yeah.
going to something to quite a bit of thing to explain, isn't it? And
Right.
so if it's even under a flower pot with a hole in it or something like that,
That's a good idea.
just you don't have to get the whole body. Just those legs, I think, would be very interesting.
I do too. I agree. That's a great idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that.
Definitely got to not do the obvious. I think is to just think of where they're not going to be looking, and like you say, at a distance is a good idea. And
Yeah,
definitely angles that. I mean, why not a hole through that fence? Something that could be put at a low level, a little hole through the fence, and a camera pushed through.
Mm-hmm.
well, I can put one, and I've got several I've got plenty of cameras. So I'm not gonna just. I'll have plenty to put out. So I could put one at the end of the fence, down at the ground, maybe tacking onto the very very bottom of the fence, along the fence line down there.
Yeah.
Down.
So
Yeah.
so somebody's asking, is there a window in the back of the shed? No, there's not a window in the back of the shed, but I'm sure we could rig something up, in the tree. But like I told you before, and people who watch our videos probably have heard me say this many times. You change one thing and they know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally serious. If you take a doghouse and you move it 10 degrees, cock it, they know. It's almost like they have ADD. It's like they have a photographic memory. You change one thing, and that might be a good thing, because you're coming here, you're going to be new. They have all these cameras set up. It's either going to do one or two things. They're either going to come, they're going to throw rocks, they're going to be pissed off because we changed something, or they're not going to come at all. You're going to have either or.
Yeah.
Which I hope is the latter. They do come,
Yeah.
like, and you'll be able to get some good footage, or some good
You
thermal image of them.
You need a bit of time, don't you? I mean, these things can't just be done overnight. And if they have to get used to something, they have to it might take them a couple of days to get used to it.
Well, it's almost like deer hunting. I mean, you don't go put out a deer stand the day before hunting season.
No.
You go put it out, a month before, so they can, get used to it and walk by. Oh, that's not anything, But here, you can ask Rachel. I mean, if we change like that video where we trim the bushes and I mean, not the bushes, the tree branches, to get a better view of the fence. I told somebody, I said, I guarantee you, they will throw rocks, or they will grunt, or they will do something, because we have changed something, and it's almost like it's their territory too, and they don't. I guess they think we can coexist, but I guess they want us to go ask permission to trim the trees and, cock the doghouse, move the doghouse, I mean, in which, like I keep saying, it from this point here, nobody has been hurt. I mean, our dogs haven't been hurt. They seem to be attracted to our dogs. Like I said before, we're not the draw. They could care less about us. I think they're attracted to them damn dogs some kind of way, somehow, or some reason, and they just keep coming. We took away the dog food. They know the camera's there, so I don't think they've really been in the yard since we put that camera up. But they still come to the fence. I mean, Jill has the enhanced version of the howling. Was it? No, it wasn't the howling video. It was just that weird video where I asked if somebody could enlarge this, because I could see something with my naked eye, and the way the dogs reacted was just strange. They took off towards the fence and didn't make a sound. Just sat there and just looked.
Yeah. Jay Ward just made a good point. Chimpanzees and a lot of animals, they have photographic memories. And that test was done by putting, I think it was 4, if I'm not mistaken, either 4 or 5 chimpanzees in a room with a ladder and an open light socket. Well, one of them climbed the ladder and zapped, it got zapped.
Mm-hmm.
And so then after that, they wouldn't climb the ladder because they were worried about getting hurt, because this one got hurt. Well, they took the one out that got hurt, and then they put a new one in. So now they still have 5, the four that were in there, since they wouldn't go near the ladder, the fifth one wouldn't go near the ladder. And this could be a thought process of how, Bigfoot learn and have learned through the generations. And so, and this could explain why maybe, they're so elusive, but the other four still wouldn't go on the ladder. And they kept changing them out every day until they have 5 new chimpanzees in that room with that ladder. And those 5, that none of them were there originally, still would not climb that ladder.
Yeah.
Because this was handed down to them. This
Right.
fear of, that's dangerous. And so the Bigfoot may be the same thing. Maybe that's been handed down through their generations when it comes to anything being moved or being around people or, interacting. Maybe one got hurt at some point by a human,
Well, that's the reason I put this question up. It's from Andy. Andy going fishing. Says, Carl, they're experimenting on you and probably teaching young adults for response. I think that's exactly. I think he's on 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're doing, because we usually see them in threes. There's pairs of threes, and people have always said they have seen in the past a little one. And that picture I showed you, that I took when they were up against the fence that night, one of the very first pictures I ever took before we even put up a camera. Looks like there's an older, bigger one and almost like a younger one, because you can tell in the face it's almost like not as old as the one on the side of it. And people say, well, that could be pareidolia, and it could be. But then again, somebody enhanced this picture for me, and you see the eyeball, and you see what is the little black part of your eye? Your pupil. Now, pareidolia usually doesn't have an eyeball and a pupil. So that's a very interesting picture to me. I mean, I would not just look at that picture and just discount it, because when you can see a clear eye and a pupil, I don't know. I've never seen that before from anybody who has a pareidolia picture.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk on that a little more, Daniela. I mean,
it's just frustrating, isn't it? It's just so hard to, even though something is there, those photos. We need clear images. I know that's like
we'll try.
saying something ridiculous, in this kind of field, but it's what you want to do, isn't it? What you want to prove. We don't need to prove that they exist, because we know things exist. It's finding that bit of evidence that is clear. Where there's no one can go, well, it could be pareidolia, or it could be. You're putting everybody in a position trying to explain a photo away, whether there's something there or not. And some people either see it or they don't, and that's the thing when things aren't clear.
Yeah. Well, even then, even if you get one crystal clear, there's still going to be those people out there who are just so close-minded. They're going to say, oh, that was Photoshop, or somebody did something, because some people are just so close-minded. That's how they are. And you can't, my thing is always, I want to open people's minds up so bad, and I want to educate on paranormal and supernatural. And then I used to, at the beginning, I would get upset if I couldn't, bring that across to someone. And then I had to just realize there's nothing you can do. It's just, they're going to be the way they are.
Well, I mean, everybody says you can have the best picture. The only person I ever seen that gets Olin Mills quality pictures of him is Todd Standing. Now you want to see some beautiful bean footage? Go check out his channel. He has them just like they went to the Sears Portrait Center. Now nobody else can get them like that, but he can. Now I'm not saying it's not real, because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, isn't it strange that he's the only guy who can get pictures of these things where they're basically posing for him? I mean, look like a runway model in Vogue magazine, I mean, just standing there perfectly like I am right now, smiling.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Winking at you.
It's just kind of, sometimes things are too good to be true. I don't
don't want to bash anybody, I mean,
I
but
to me though, all three look different, and I just I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it's not what I expected to see.
and look, if you're a Todd Standing fan, great. You know, I think he does have a lot of great stuff, but there's no need to embellish something. If you have good evidence, good vocalizations, footprints, that's all you need. If people don't believe you, they're not going to believe you until they see one themselves.
Yeah.
Then they, like I said before, they're going to come back and say, hey, remember the time you said you saw Bigfoot? Guess what? I saw one too. And it wasn't a bear. It wasn't a monkey. It wasn't a guy in a clown suit. It was a damn Bigfoot. Just like that video of that Mississippi skunk ape. There's a uh, to me, I want to meet the man who can sit there with his kneeling down and rip apart a cypress tree.
That's pretty
Rip, rip,
compelling. That's pretty
Yeah.
compelling video. That
You can't.
rip apart a cypress tree.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. No human can do that.
that man hasn't been invented yet.
Mm-mm.
Not
No.
not in the sense that we're men or women. That was something on that video.
Right.
It's not a guy in a gorilla suit ripping apart a cypress tree, because
No.
you cannot rip apart a cypress tree. I'm sorry.
there's lots of detail in that video. I mean, it looks like they've got two babies hanging off.
Yeah, that's what.
He's holding on
I
already.
thought that was the one.
Hey,
And it could be possible. I mean, I wouldn't discount it though. A lot of people just look at it and discount it. Say, "Oh, that's a guy in a suit." No, might be a guy in a suit, but a guy in a suit is not going to be ripping apart a cypress tree. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Mm-mm.
I think also when it stands up, that guy, he doesn't need to say anything. You can almost feel the fear in him when he sees the size of it, and he just turns and runs. You know.
At first, I think he doesn't realize what he's looking at.
Yeah.
I think he thinks it might be a bear, because it kind of does look like a bear from the back. But once it starts ripping apart, which a bear can rip apart a cypress tree, but a bear doesn't have that posture, and a bear doesn't stand up and is like 8, 9 foot tall. So I mean,
Are you sure a
we
bear
get
rip a cypress tree like that?
we getting off a track here. So I mean, let's get back to what we got going on here.
Well,
So
I'll tell you this. When what I do, I don't turn over anything that isn't, 100%, 110% compelling to my whole team first before anybody else in the world sees it. My team's going to look at it. We're all going to say, every single one of them. And I have skeptics on my team. I have, all kinds of different people. I have a team of over 20 people. And they're all kind of different people. And every single one of them is going to have to go, it's not, try to anything that naturally it could be, just like the one that the flashing lights we were looking at. Everybody look at it and give and say, hey, and name what else they think it could be if it's not super clear. And
right.
if everybody doesn't agree that that's something supernatural, that it could be this or that, y'all won't even see it. You won't even get it.
Okay.
I mean, that's just how, and I do that to protect my name. And because the minute you start turning out anything that has an inkling of being ridiculous or now they're trying to make something out of nothing, or it's not compelling, like people can find other reasons for what they see, then they stop believing you. That's not going to happen with my team. So that's why nothing I give out is unless everybody looks at it and they all really think that it's something.
Well, I mean,
it would be great if we could get it. What I want, of course.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're pretty much opening ourselves up to controversy, I guess. I mean, because, but then again, we are anyway just by putting up a camera in our backyard, and I try not to use the word Bigfoot. We put up videos and we say, hey, can y'all help us out, or what do you think's going on in this video? Now we have our own opinion, but we don't try to put our opinion on somebody else. We don't automatically assume it's a Bigfoot, like that weird whistle I had sent to Daniela. Now, Two guys have come to me. One of them is probably still on here. Andy, gone fishing, has heard that exact same tone whistle in the woods. A guy named Joseph Dietz, who lives out, well, was around the Pearl River when he was 12 years old, heard that exact same whistle. I've got that whistle recorded. And I went to another Bigfoot site where they had the exact same whistle that I recorded in my backyard in the woods. I mean, so it's either one guy walking around over 20 years now whistling the same four-tone whistle, which humans don't do. So it's just little evidence like that that you start putting the pieces of a puzzle together. And if people don't believe you, then go watch something else. I mean, I'm sorry. Go to another channel. Go play video games. Do something. I mean,
Well, I can tell you, I analyze. You know, you sent me one. Like I analyze sounds and animal. I love. I do a lot with animals. I do. You know, always researched a lot about animals. So any sound I hear, I try to find something like an animal, a natural. You know, an animal sound or something.
right.
And that last one, like there's. I mean, and I'm not to point out any specific video, but just to say, I listen and I try to find something a normal bird or something to match that, and I can't. Not, I mean, I just can't at all. There are sounds that you cannot match to any animal that is in South Louisiana or in the Northern America. There are sounds you just can't match to any animal whatsoever. And,
Well, I think I told you this story before, but I'll tell it again because we might have a few more people. I
one
took
thing,
that kind of like,
can I say one thing? It
yeah,
looks
go ahead.
like for some people, because I know one girl said something like they don't know who I am. So for
Oh,
people that came late,
they
just
might have came late.
you might want to just kind of, or I can,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and introduce yourself and
yeah,
tell them what we have planned. And
they know who I am. Okay. So and my name is Jill. I know y'all can see that, but I'm the founder of A Team Paranormal. Been doing it for about 20 years, researching paranormal and supernatural things. Also, Carl and I grew up in the same subdivision and went to school together. So I've known Carl for many, many years. Unless we're going to tell our age, I'm not going to tell you how many, but a lot. Um, so I mean, when Carl called me with this, I know him. I know who he is. I've known him for a huge majority of my life. And I know he's not one of these people that just comes up with stuff. He's actually the opposite. He's the ultimate skeptic, really. And so when he contacted me about this, because he knew what I did, I took it serious because that's who he is. He's not a person that just does things like this. So, and our history is how I knew that about him. I already knew that about him. So it made me take it serious. And then my videographer started working with the video, and then I really started taking it seriously when I saw the stuff that they caught. So I will be investigating there for a week, a full week in December, and and we're going to go live then too. And I'm open for suggestions on things you guys think I might can try or whatever. Um, and so that's who I am. I'm the founder of 18 Paranormal. We'll put my link in here to my channel in there sometime, but before we when we get done or whatever. But that's who I am, and that's what I'm going to be doing in December.
yeah, we're glad to have you. I mean,
Excited.
just those few little videos that Ross enhanced for us. We couldn't believe it. I mean, because like I said, we would see flashes, dark flashes, with your own eyes, but your eyes aren't made to see in the dark.
Right.
I mean, and what he did with those videos is just unbelievable. And to actually see what is there is unbelievable. Now, I had footprints, we have hair, we have pictures, and I guess it doesn't really hit home until the day I actually saw one. And because it could all be circumstantial. I mean, but when you see one, like I said, when everybody sees one, then we'll know Bigfoot exists. But until then, all you can do is go off of people like me and thousands of other people who have seen this thing. And I'm here to tell you, these things are real. And I think pretty much all of these people who are listening to us right now, think they are real or have seen one or had some kind of weird experience. I mean, you open yourself up. It's almost like a Pandora's box. I mean, we didn't have to go on a show and tell people what we found, but we did just because I want people to know that these things do exist, uh, how you should treat them. You know, people people today still, if you run into one of these things, what should you do? Should you try to talk to it? Here, I have a candy bar. Do you want a candy bar, or should you just slowly back away? I say treat them like a grizzly bear. Just try to slowly back away. But there's some people who claim that they have, these long conversations with them and stuff, and none of it's on camera, but they just, I don't know. It's like nobody, there's no book that you can go to. Any other animal, wild animal, cougar, bear, alligator, you have rules. You don't do this. When you encounter one, you do this. These things here, there's no book because they don't exist, right? These things do not exist. So you can't write a book on something that doesn't exist. And I'm
There's,
just worried about people's safety.
there's one thing that always remains the same, no matter what animal or person you're talking about. And I'm a huge believer in this, and I'm big on this. It's energy. Stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
Stay calm. If something feels threatened, or if you fear something, then it's going to feel like it needs to defend itself because you might hurt it. And that's
Right.
people. That's people. And so the main thing, I mean, like you said, there's no way to know, but definitely the first thing to do in any given situation is keep your energy level. Because if people pick up on energy, animals pick up on energy. I know
Yes.
humans pick up on energy. I think they want to keep your dogs as pets for themselves. They love the dogs, but and I think part of that and going into something different is the energy they get off the dogs. I don't think it's bad. I don't think the dogs fear them. I think the
Mm-hmm.
energy off your dogs is good, and they pick up on that, and that's how they, any animal, person, or thing is going to kind of react the way you react. And if you're calm, it's kind of calm. If your energy is happy, their energy, tends to be happy. So, you know, that's just one thing I want to say. One thing remains the same, and that's keep your energy calm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people think they can pick up intent, like and they probably can because dogs can do it. Dogs can recognize a bad person in a second. I mean, and start growling and barking. So they might. I mean, the reason they may be coming here, I think it originally was to take dog food, and we stopped that, and they just don't feel threatened, or I've never taken a gun out there and fired off any shots or anything, but I just don't think they feel intimidated, or they wouldn't come around. I mean, if they're looking for a fight, like I keep saying, all I had to do is jump this fence and just rip the door off the hinges. I have to worry about them coming in the door. They just rip the damn door off the hinges, as big as they are,
Sure.
and kill me. I mean, how many times have they had in the past to just catch me in the backyard? Because there's so many, you'll see when you get here, there's so many blind corners that they could be hiding from before we even knew what was going on. Man, they could have drove me 10 foot deep into the ground head first.
Yeah.
But they haven't. That's what I'm keep saying. They haven't hurt anything except some possums, some squirrels, and what else was it? Possum, a squirrel, and a big rat. They left us. No
Oh,
blood, no
And the dead
trauma.
birds.
And yes, that was one weird thing we were having going on about a couple of months ago. We were finding dead, wet blue jays in our backyard. Now, the dogs are inside at
yeah.
night, hadn't rained or anything, but we were finding dead, wet blue jays. I don't know if anybody's ever found that or heard of anything about that before, but don't know the significance of that. But so once again, somebody just asked. This is Jill Miller. She is with 18 Paranormal. She is going to come to our house in December, and she is going to do a week-long investigation and try to get to the bottom of this. If there is a bottom, might not even be a bottom. But I don't know. We just had some new people come in, Jill. I don't know if you want to kind of just maybe give them just a little quick rundown of what you plan on doing, again, because there's people coming in.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple things, and then I'll be open for suggestions and looking for things. Definitely now, I have several cameras. I've got some lens protectors where if they, they do have that cone and can see the IR light, they won't be able to see it and won't be able to see the reflection. The cameras don't have motors, so there's not going to be any sound whatsoever. There's going to be a little bit of an electrical wavelength coming from them. Some EMFs will be coming off of them if they can feel those. And I tend to believe they can personally, but it won't be high. So there won't be any of that. No clicking off and on. They're going to be on all the time. And we're going to set them up in different places. And definitely now, like Daniela was saying, one on the ground. I think that's a great idea. So I'll have one down lower, and then I'm gonna put some up high. I'm gonna have them all over. I'm gonna have audio everywhere, and I'm gonna sleep outside on a hammock. So I want to try to catch something. I just want to try to catch something solid. Because if we can really catch something solid, then the education for the people outside this field can begin, and that's what we always look for, some scientific proof.
Right.
Jill,
Okay.
do you think can you connect? Do you think you can connect with whatever's out there if you're down there?
It's funny you say that. I keep coming back to this, and I'm reading some of the comments when I can. My eyesight's not the best, but so it's hard to do two things. But I feel like, and this is why I just mentioned the dogs. Like from the minute Carl showed me the video, I feel like he said, "I don't know what it is about the dogs," and I said, I feel like they have a connect. They want to. They want to. I don't know. It's like they have this. They like these dogs. They want to play with the dogs. And at times, I feel like they want to set the dogs free, like the dogs are being held captive. So, like they want to pet the dogs. They want to interact with the dogs, and I do believe they are interacting with the dogs in their way. And I feel like at times they feel like they want to set the dogs free because the dogs are being contained, and in their mind, that's not a good thing. That's they're free. So I feel like I am kind of a little bit picking up something that I know is not coming from me or them,
Wouldn't it be interesting if the dogs weren't there for a couple of nights?
Um,
Do you think that would?
I would be curious to try both ways, honestly, with and without the dogs there. And if there's any way the dogs can stay for maybe one night or two, and see if any activity is different. That's a good test, to do. Music too. I wanna try one night playing some low music, soothing, calm music. And I also want to play some of the howls that we have on video, not from them, from other YouTube videos that we have, and see if if that does anything too.
Hey Jill, somebody's asking, did you put a link in your to your channel on
I did.
in the comments?
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't. I can.
I guess people want to go check out your channel. But I mean that's the crux of it. I mean, we sent her videos, sent her all the pictures, and kind of, like I said before, I was kind of apprehensive to do it, but I know what she does, and I thought if anybody is going to understand, she's going to understand.
See,
And
and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is interesting to me because this is what I feel. He says that his experience with the EMF this summer doing an overnighter search was interesting. The meter pegged on max 2 times and began flickering with every little movement I made. And I feel like Danielle too. This is another thing that I'm picking up, and that I've been picking up since I watched the first video. I feel like they have some type of this almost like an EMF detector themselves. Like they can pick up off of electrical energy, and like when they use their voice, it almost reverberates, and it's got this electronic kind of ping to it, almost like dolphins with sonar. You know what I mean? And this, and what he's saying right there, it's that makes me think that I'm right about that. I mean, that he's had that experience with them. So I'm definitely going to be using an EMF detector too, for sure.
Look at the size of that cast on his little picture.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a good one.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think he might have to correct me, but I've talked to this gentleman several times, and I think he's up around Montana or Colorado, somewhere up in that area, which we've heard that they get a lot bigger around. The higher you get, the bigger they get, which makes sense. That's even with people. Uh, so he's around some giants, some real giants.
This is a good question there for Jill. Have you captured a robotic voice or electronic voices? I think we talked before, didn't we? And you've captured stuff like that.
Yeah, I have. Um, I one time I've caught them in paranormal investigations. Not in a supernatural investigation, but in a paranormal investigation. We caught it was actually more like it was EVP. We didn't really hear it with our ears, but or it may have been on the spirit box. I'm trying to remember now. But we caught a robotic voice saying roll clip one, and it was a really old theater is what we were investigating. And I wouldn't have, I knew nothing about acting theater or anything like that. But my video guy, this has been his life. He's got a degree in videography and stuff like that. And he said, "Did you hear that voice like a robot?" It said, "Roll clip one." And I said, "I do hear that. You know what?" And he said, "That's what they used to mark something and play that." I've picked up robotic voices in paranormal investigations.
Well, I've actually talked to this lady before, the Weird SQS. I've sent her some. We absolutely we hear that a lot, and a lot of people have said that they think they have three sets of vocal cords. And to me, I always call it. Send her some. We absolutely we hear that. Somebody has a YouTube on, and a lot of people have said that they think they have three vocal cords. Not me.
No.
No. Okay. Well, anyway, we've talked before. The Weird Desk US. We've talked before, and I've actually sent her a sample of some stuff that Jason Bigfoot Tony had pulled out for us, and it does. It sounds like a robotic. I call it a metallic. Even call a whistle we hear metallic because I don't have the vocabulary to call it anything else. That's what it sounds like to me. Almost like a metallic whistle or now we've actually heard they have what they call the samurai chatter, which is I guess their normal language. I guess I would say don't really know, but we think they understand English because last one of the live feeds we did flat out asked them, "Hey, if you're out here, can you knock?" And they did. So I said, well, let me see if this was just a coincidence. Asked them again, and they knocked a second time. So are they reading my mind? Can they understand English? I think they can. They've been around us enough to over the years, hundreds of years, to probably pick up English.
Yeah. That's a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, well, they say, I saw something the other day. They say you are never smarter than when you are a baby.
Yeah, because your mind's open.
Yes, exactly. You can learn any English. I mean, any language. You can learn to walk. You can learn just about anything when you're a kid. But when you're 40 years old, try to go learn another language. It's hard. But kids, babies, pick it up like anything. I mean, a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, their minds are sponges, and they've not closed their minds off to anything. You know,
Yeah.
It happens. As we get older, we close our minds off.
All right, Jill, you ready? Or Daniela, or anybody, y'all ready to answer some questions? If y'all have any questions, we've been trying to keep up with it, but y'all fire away and ask away.
Or any suggestions of what they could or what
Yeah,
you can do.
I am going to try the baby crying thing. I saw that, so we'll try that too.
yeah. Rachel tried it once already. I just told her, I said, don't have the police pounding on our front door at 2:30 in the morning and say,
No.
hey, is there a baby crying in your backyard?
Or anything I do, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it real loud. I don't feel like it needs to be real loud. Really.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like they hear very well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they have to. I mean, because they're not subjected to noise, music. I mean, vehicles. They're hearing like other animals who live out in the forest. Probably is exceptional, and
Yeah.
and I believe they have abilities that we don't have. I mean, maybe not so much supernatural. I think they're just smarter than us. I think we've lost a lot in the last couple hundred years of our self-awareness, and they haven't because they have to. They have to rely on it.
Yeah. So, as far as the EMF meter, I have a K2 meter, I have a mel meter, and a regular EMF detector.
Yeah, Andy, live PD will be coming to my house because they're here in Lafayette. So
No.
got a call on a abandoned baby in your backyard. You might see me. Keep watching it. You might see me with a.
The more they're saying of it, I think, Daniela, I think maybe taking the dogs away for a night would be a really good idea. I mean, I think they would be curious enough to come find out, if nothing else,
Where they are.
to come figure out what's going on.
Yeah. I think it would. I think it would upset them maybe if they couldn't
Yeah.
see the dogs again. You know, it might need to be done over a couple of nights, though. This is what I'm saying. It's hard to just think something will work for one night or for one. You need a little bit of time to.
Well, now that you say that, we had sent the dogs, what, about a month and a half ago?
Mm-hmm.
About a month and a half ago, we sent them to training. They were gone for what? About a week?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they were gone about a week. And we did have some interesting things go on. I mean, some rocks being thrown. And I think the rocks being thrown is more trying, because we put the dogs in about 9:15 every night. And I think they try to, throw rocks and whistle to see where the dogs are, if they're out or if they're inside. And let me tell you just how smart they are. Okay, we noticed like it usually ramps up before we were letting the dogs, and it would ramp up about 9:15, 9:30. All right. So we started bringing in the dogs, and I would get up at 5 o'clock and I would let them out before I'd start getting ready to go to work. So they picked up on the fact that they came and they, I guess, played with the dogs, and then they knew they went in a period of time, and they would show back up on camera 4:15, 4:30, because I think they knew that I was about ready to let the dogs out. That's how intelligent these things are. I mean, it's not a dumb animal like a bear or a deer. There's some intelligence there.
I think you've got to play with whatever you've got there to irritate them in a way, or to take away their, like you say, if they're not OCD, but if they like things a certain way, is to just start moving things about. And I mean, not to the extent of really upsetting them, but small changes will be enough to
Well, and
maybe initiate.
look, I'm all for that. But what people have to remember is, like, people say, well, put the dog food back out, start feeding them. But you have to remember, we live here. It's
Yeah.
not like we're going in the woods 100 miles and we're leaving dog food and donuts and stuff like that, and we're coming back home. These things are in our backyard. So the last thing we want to do is really piss one off.
Yeah.
Because there's no telling what could happen. And like I said, To this point, nobody's been hurt. Except maybe a couple boards on my fence and some squirrels and some possums. So nobody's been hurt. Except maybe a couple.
Turned it on again.
Who's got that YouTube on again?
Not me. It was this paranormal.
Oh, my phone's over there on the desk.
Okay. Well, what else can you do? We've got some suggestions in the chat.
Put that one up. Yeah, here you go, Jill. Jill, you wanna comment on this from Andy going fishing?
Who, me?
Yeah. Can you see the comment?
I can. I'm not gonna use a tent. I'm gonna be sleeping in a hammock with an electric blanket.
Hey.
I prefer to stay by myself at night, and this is just because I don't put my team in danger, and I don't do anything to put myself in danger either. Not to say that I would be. I wouldn't be out there a whole lot by myself after dark on the other side of the fence. Not that a fence protects me, but I'll be near my phone and where others can get to me if I need them to. Just for a few reasons, and also too, there might be some other things going on out there. So I probably won't be outside the fence a lot at night by myself. Maybe if I have one other person with me or something, safety in numbers. And that's just the smart thing to do when you don't know what you're dealing with,
Oh, well, Kerry's made a very generous offer here of a Psionics night vision camera. It's just ordered one. It's yours after the expedition.
Where is that? I can't.
Oh, that's not fair, Kerry.
Can you highlight that one for me, Rachel?
Let me see. Let me find it. I'm looking.
I know.
Well, that would be nice to use it and see if that helps us catch anything.
I've got.
Can,
What?
that's for Carrie.
I have several night vision cameras. So you can never have too many. I mean, I do have plenty though.
Okay.
You should. It wouldn't hurt for you to put one up. Maybe. I mean, I'm gonna be there for a week.
Right.
I'll be there for a whole week. I'll probably come in on Saturday and stay till the next Sunday. So I'll be there the whole week. But sure, you can't control when this stuff happens.
No.
So if you have
Right.
something like that after I leave, or I could leave you some of these set up and just come back the next week and get them. I may do that.
Right. Look, Ruger Ridge has a good comment, and this is unbelievable what the answer is going to be. What has your neighbor said? Okay, I think enough of y'all know, we've told all of our neighbors, showed them videos, and they don't hear a thing. They don't hear a thing, or they either kind of do like we were doing, just write it off as subdivision noise. That's kids outside, messing around. But we played that howling video for them, and if we could hear it, I know they could hear it, but they just might not know what it was. I mean, because if I want to find that footprint December 4th last year, 2018, we would still not know what was going on. Yes, Joseph, I think that, yes, you're right. They have, because that's where that big persimmon tree is. Now, I don't really see any fruit on it yet, but I think the better question might be, do they eat the branches? Because we have videos at night, it sounds like branches just snapping, or either something crunching on a branch or a limb. So I have no idea what that is. I mean, somebody made a comment, says it sounds like they're building a house. It's like, but you don't see any evidence on the ground. I mean, so that leads me to believe they're either breaking all these sticks and taking it with them, or they're eating them. I mean, if you can eat a persimmon, I guess you could eat the leaf or the branch. I mean, well, I guess it's not going to kill you. Are they afraid to
The
confirm
neighbors.
with you? I don't know, Andy. I think, I don't know what it is. I think some people just don't want to face reality. I mean, and if it is, say they do believe it's 100%, what are they going to do about it? I mean, you can go out there and shoot one. Good luck to you, because there's usually two more. You better have a lot of bullets and a fast trigger finger, because the one that gets you is usually the one you don't see. So the one you're going to shoot at, that's not the one you got to worry about. And we heard of, past, you know instances that people have shot at these things, and
Into battle.
they yeah they will come after you. I mean, if you just chill out, leave them alone, they'll scare you. They will try to run you out of area, I think, but don't shoot at them. I mean, first of all, you there's no reason to kill one. I mean, and you could end up getting yourself killed. So
I'll be right back. I'm gonna get me something to drink.
okay. Carl, have they thrown anything at your house or dog? Yes, many times. Just go look at our videos. Go to my page and just pick a video where it says something's thrown. Yeah, rocks, little hunks of cement. Uh, what else? Even found an old piece of chain that looked like it was from the 1800s. I don't know where that came from, but well, we are on an old plantation, so they might have dug it up somewhere, but and see, that's the thing. These pieces of cement that they're finding and they're throwing at our house, they come from one location. So that just tells me that they're smart. They're thinking. If they would have to pick up a rock from this coulee and bring it all the way over here to throw it at my house, because we just don't have rocks in the yard, and my neighbors just don't have rocks in the yard. And like I said, it's not an actual rock; it's a piece of hunk of cement, little where out of the coulee, like where they stop, in the turns and stuff, where it washes out. They dump this cement and these big rocks to kind of hone in from it washing out. But so if they're smart enough to realize, well, hey, I'm going to have to pick up a rock and bring it to this guy's house to throw it, which I think to see if the dogs are out, because if they can't see the dogs, maybe they think the dogs are in the dog house, or maybe they might be behind the apartment, or I think that's more or less them just trying to locate the dogs and get the dogs to come out. And I think they're feeding them. Go look at that last video that Jill enhanced for us, where the one's just standing there. My dogs rush up to the fence. That's the weirdest video to me of all, because my dogs take off, rush up to the fence, and just stop. Don't bark. Don't make a sound. They're just staring. And go see what Ross brought out in that video, what they're looking at.
What did you get anything off the chunks of cement? Was there any sort of residue left on it, or?
There was on the bottom of a couple pieces, it was like almost old green algae. So that pretty much leads me to believe that they had come from the coulee or a wet area. And that's really the only constant wet area that stays wet around here. I mean, we're not that close. We have a river nearby, but it's about 2 miles away. So, and it could have came from there, but the coulee is a more logical explanation, because that's just around the block.
Yeah, but I'm kind of thinking that of this oil that they seem to have, whether anything was, they must have had to carry it. So, did it absorb anything? Was it too got too much stuff on it?
Not very. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm not too sure on the rocks, because they're so on the chunks of cement, because they're so porous. But I think we definitely did get a handprint on that stick that was leaned up against a tree when Carrie came here to do our Bigfoot Odyssey episode. That he shows where that something looks like a handprint. Something grabbed it with a real greasy. Because I can go out there and get the stick right now. That handprint is still on that stick. It's almost like it stained the wood. And that footprint that we found on the cement, that thing stayed for about 5 days.
Mm. What about a mirror? What do you think they react to having a mirror put up somewhere?
To seeing themselves.
Mm.
That's a
Yeah, I mean, where would you put it though? I mean, would you put it in the yard or on the
Well,
attach it to the
bin, or-
fence.
You know, I come up with a bit of an idea. You'll have to help me.
Well, you could attach it
Yeah,
to the back
well,
side of the fence, down on the corner or something, and with a camera down pointing on it from the tree or something like that,
yeah.
or even behind it. I mean, I know one person asked about your neighbors. Yeah, right behind you. They're, I guess you told them they're old people that,
Yeah,
so they, I mean, nobody's going to notice it. And even if, if I put if I put a mirror out there at 1 o'clock in the morning till like 4 or 5 and take it down,
If you think
yeah,
there.
about like a periscope has a mirror on the bottom and a mirror on the and it's reflecting an image back, isn't it? I'm just wondering if you could set up a series. I know it's going to sound complicated, but to set up a series of mirrors that would reflect a view from where they can't see, even if it has to shine off two mirrors.
leave that out because I want to tell.
But the hard part about that is going to be where to put cameras.
Yeah,
You have the camera facing part of a mirror. It's because that reflection with our IR cameras, any type of reflection like that blurs the camera out completely. So it would be setting up a series of mirrors and a camera where the camera is not picking up any of the mirror.
yeah. They're just
Okay.
ideas, I don't know, but they're just sort of things I think.
Yeah, that's I'll think that through and run it by my tech guys and see if they can think of a way. That's a good idea. A way
Look,
to do that.
let me answer this because this is a very good point.
Yes.
Andy going fishing. Do you think they are walking on your house or guest house? I'm gonna tell you a story. For years, before this even started, for years, when we first moved in this house, Rachel would tell me, I would get home from work, Carl, I think there's somebody walking in the attic, or there's somebody in the attic. At night when I, after get off of work and I maybe go with the boys somewhere to have a couple beers and I get home, she said, Carl, there's somebody in the attic walking around. I was like, Rachel, you're crazy. It's the middle of July. Nobody can survive in an attic this time of year. So I would go in the attic and never saw anything, never found anything. But now that you say that, Andy, I mean, I kind of wonder if that was the case all along, because we've heard things in the past about these getting on. Well, we've got video of what we think is video of one on my neighbor's house throwing about a 5-pound hunk of cement. Have they pounded on your house yet? No, I don't think they really have pounded on the house. But and this is the weird thing about it. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced this thing at their home. If you have any things that come to your home, it's like a lot of times I'm sleeping at night and I'll just hear a big bang, just bang, and I automatically wake up, and it scares me, and I just have to sit there for a second. It's like, wait, did I really hear that, or am I dreaming, or what's going on here? So I get up and I look, and I don't see anything. Check the camera, don't see anything on the camera. So I don't know if I'm dreaming this, or I don't know what's going on there. But it's just just a big bang, ow, and like nothing there. So I don't know if I'm just going crazy or getting old and senile, or again.
Well, one thing too that I want to and I know this is kind of off the subject we're talking about right this moment. One thing I want everybody to go back and look at is the video. You'll have to help me with the name of the video. with the pants, and he hung up a pair of pants out there where they're swinging with the
Oh, that's just the howling video.
howling video.
Yeah.
I want people to look at that and pay attention to those pants. When they start the sound, the howling sound, the pants start swinging. Now there's no leaves blowing or anything. Nothing else is moving. There's no wind. And when they stop the howling, the pants stop swinging. And that's a big thing in this industry, in the paranormal and supernatural industry, because if there's nothing else that's going to sync that swaying with those pants with the howling sound. I mean, the minute they start swinging. The minute they stop swinging. That's why I feel like they've got this almost sonic, electronic kind of reverberation thing going on. And that's just one thing that, if you're just looking at it, you kind of don't think about it. But if you're looking at stuff like this all the time, it's the first thing you notice is things like that. Nothing else is moving, but something is causing them to move. Nobody's touched them, so it has to be their voice.
Exactly.
So that's just,
well, a guy accused me the other day, went on that video and said, "Oh, you just recorded a pack of dogs and put it on there and trying to pass this off as Bigfoot evidence." I was like, okay, I'm 54 years old, dude. I really need to go, first of all, find a pack of dogs and then say, okay, 1, 2, 3 on cue. Y'all all need to howl. I'm going to record it and I'm going to go play it in my backyard and I'm going to put it on YouTube and I'm not going to make a cent from it because we don't charge anything to watch our videos. We just put them up there. I mean, we're not trying to make any money. We're just trying to get to the bottom of this. I was like, come on, man, really?
Well, that's not going to make these pants move, even if it's a pack of dogs doing it.
And that's what I told him. I said, okay,
sound.
What about the pants moving? Oh, in California, we call that wind. Okay, well, what about, why is there no other branches blowing in the tree?
Why are the leaves? Leaves don't weigh anything. Why aren't the leaves blowing?
Well, he said it was just a what do you call it? Like a gust, like a low line. Okay, what about the flash of light? Well, when I asked him about the flash of light, he quit commenting. I guess because I guess he got tired of it. But I mean, he didn't have an answer for that one.
Well, if it was a gust of wind, I guarantee you, the leaves, you can blow on a leaf and it's going to move. You can't blow on a pair of jeans and then move, but you can blow on a leaf and they're going to move. The leaves would still be moving. And if a gust comes by, some leaves are probably going to come off, which you can really
exactly.
see.
I mean, so
there's just, I thought about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to play this video, Carl? Because I've got it ready if you want.
Yeah, you can go ahead and play it if you want.
Yeah, okay.
Now tell me if this is a pack of dogs.
No, this is the
No, you'll have to share the screen. Can you see share screen?
Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
Watch how hard they start swinging.
Yeah, that's the one nobody can explain.
Well, to me, and this just may be my paranormal side. I think these things go hand in hand with paranormal activity, because like whatever electronic or electromagnetic force they've got coming off of them, or
Mhm.
I mean, it's just stop.
So yeah, I
So
mean,
what? That there's nothing. It's like something's in the tree because nothing else is moving apart from what's above
mhm.
Right.
that thing that's
If
swinging.
something were in the tree would be moving because the person's arm. So that's not even moving. So I really feel like it's their voice. It's just that booming, and
Well,
Carl is, I believe, it feels like it's hit him. It's hit him in the chest.
yeah, on that very video right there, well, Rachel didn't get out of bed. I did. I was standing in my bedroom window right here the whole time this was going on, and this window was rattling, and it was like it was hit me in the chest, and that can only be like a sound wave or something. Like kind of like when a fighter jet takes off, you feel it. I mean, you hear it and you feel it. I mean, it's sound waves. That's what it is. I mean,
That's what I feel like too. Yeah, and the tire, those big things hanging. Those are the things that are moving.
now, well, look, Carrie brings up a good point, and I want everybody to pay attention to this because
I heard
he's
that too.
about the only. Yeah, in the beginning, listen. Can you play it again, Daniela? Listen to the very beginning. These weird, strange, what I call metallic whistles. Can you play it again?
Yeah, just hang on a sec.
All right.
The same video, is it?
Yes.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I can hear
That's
that.
actually when it starts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could just hear that. Then I've just played it. Hang on. No. Hang on.
And from what Joseph said, as far as when being in the tree and swinging the rope, the tree. If they're in that tree, the tree would be moving a good bit.
Right.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Like, what's that? Can you hear that? It sounds like a.
Sounds like a horse.
Sounds like a horse, but there's no horse within miles of here. But I'm gonna tell you something. This was an old plantation, and this was the horse farm where they kept the horses. So
I'll just play it again. The few.
That's residual activity, residual paranormal activity. I do.
you tell me. I have no idea.
Play it again. Those few seconds. That noise. I think it's that the dog's claws getting off the
Yeah,
deck.
yeah. They run off the cement. Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Yeah.
another thing too, you analyze dog behavior. If you know,
Do what?
if you analyze dog behavior, okay, as it got louder, the dogs got into a whining. They got afraid.
Right.
When dogs howl, other dogs react by howling. There's communication for them. That's what it is. If it was the howling of a dog or a pack of dogs, your dogs are not going to start whining and run back to the house. That's not what they do. That's just it's just not in their nature. It's not what they do. They would be howling also because the howling would hurt their ears. But the dogs aren't worried about their ears hurting from a sound. The dogs are actually picking up on something they're afraid of. and that's why I believe they can.
Right. Jill, look at this
That's
comment.
interesting.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you were on that. You were on that pretty early. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, and I've got I do have my researcher. I have she's a librarian is her trade, because we don't charge for anything we do. Everything, we don't charge anybody ever for anything. So all of my team are volunteer. So we all have the real jobs that pay our bills. But so my researcher is a library, and I have her researching your land. Now she won't give me any of that information simply because of, you know, when you have psychic abilities, if someone gives you all this information, you mentally, your brain tries to make it fit what you've heard into what you're feeling. So I don't want to do that. So I choose not to know things before I go somewhere. So, but I do have someone doing some research. My researcher's working on it. And after I leave that week, when I'm done and I've picked up anything I can, she'll give it all to me. So we'll find out if there's a fire or something out there.
okay, sounds good. All right, it's almost going on 7:30. Time flies when you're having fun, right? So, does anybody have any last questions, comments, suggestions before we go? Ask Jill, Daniela, me, Rachel, whoever. Maybe the Bigfoot remember the horses. You know that Jay Ward, that could be, man, because I'm gonna tell you something. We've been living here going on almost 19 years. And when we first moved here, in any direction you would turn, it was all wooded areas. That's all gone now. It's all subdivisions. And they came in and just tore down subdivisions and built these beautiful houses and neighborhoods, and we might have be living right on top of, right where they used to live or where they used to hunt, or who knows, we might have moved in on them. Who knows?
Yeah, we've moved in on them everywhere. That this was all of nature's territory.
Yeah, I mean,
They've been here longer than we have.
exactly.
And Indians, I think they've been here. I think they're ancient, and still exist. That's my personal opinion, and it's because of their ability to not be seen and detected. That's how they've survived.
Right.
Yeah, my EMF detectors. What's his name? I want to call him.
I'm not sure exactly what 10 foot,
Um,
10 foot by 5x.
yeah, 10 foot.
That's what I call them.
Yeah, my EMF detectors do light up. The millimeter doesn't. The millimeter I'll be using when I walk around and videoing that. But the EMF detector and the K2 both light up. I'll be able to see them.
Jill's channel.
I tried to post something.
Yeah.
I did post something from my channel up there somewhere. No, I don't see it. I was going.
You can't put it in the comment.
But the sound was coming through.
Daniela, can you go to her channel, 18 Paranormal Investigations, and grab it and drop it in the chat?
Yeah.
I tried to do that earlier, but the sound was coming through on both.
Mm-hmm.
So it was affecting this sound, so I didn't want to do that.
Daniela is a whiz at this. This is why I had her on, because she's
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not that great with YouTube. We were so focused on Facebook, and we got, that we did that for years. We're just now getting videos on our YouTube channel. We've had it for a while, just hadn't. I actually had an old one I had to pull some stuff off of, so we're getting it together now. But it's a work in progress.
So 18 paranormal.
Sorry,
18 paranormal.
Yes, the 8 because the regular 18 is an old one. I'm taking everything off that link. It's got my me letting animals loose and stuff on there.
I can't see it.
Well, do we have any moderators in here? Because somebody's choking on something in here, and
oh no, I don't need to.
Look, hey,
let me see.
I
tried to copy and paste it in there, and I couldn't.
Dan Cleveland.
Dan Cleveland is choking on something.
He needs the Heimlich.
Help him. Tell Dan Cleveland to come by the house. I'll help him out.
With what he's choking on, I don't think the helmet's gonna work.
Put a bullet in his ass. I bet it would.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, you're right, Ruger Ridge. I don't know what we would do without Daniela. She's really well, I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna somebody called her something today that wasn't very nice, and it's not even funny. She does a hell of a job, and we couldn't do it without her. So
I'm gonna mute my thing for just a second to try to grab that link.
okay.
The sound of.
Dan Cleveland, go play your video games, buddy. All right. I know you don't have a wife or girlfriend.
He's trying to call a medical. Get off YouTube. Call the medical.
Yeah.
That still won't work because I can't write in the comments. I'll have to put it on there after, maybe.
Search, but I don't know why it's not coming up.
Oh, I can do this. Hold on 1 second. I can do this.
Hey, there's sites for Dan Cleveland. He just needs to find them.
That didn't work either. I was going to try to send it in a private chat to you, Daniela, but I don't think that worked.
Yeah, we'll do. Oh yeah, I can see it. There we
Can
go.
you? Okay.
Hang on.
Can somebody get his ass off of here? Dan Cleveland.
Let's go.
You should be able to boot somebody.
Yeah, but I can't do it. We can't do it off of here. So
You should be able to. I mean, most.
first, the only thing I know about Dan Cleveland is he's choking on a penis and he loves Trump. So
And he hates
that should probably tell you everything you need to know about Dan Cleveland.
Okay, Joseph said, Andy, get Dan Cleveland.
Yeah, where's Dan? Dan's probably on.
I've just posted the link for Jill's YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, do I think that spirit pulls energy from the environment, or is it generated by them? I think it's both. I think how active they can be depends on how well they've learned to manipulate energy and how much energy they have access to. So I think that it's both. I do think that they generate it. You know, people talk about orbs, and I'll talk just a moment for paranormal here. People talk about orbs. I'm not an orb person. People send me pictures all the time. Look at all these orbs. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, it's dust and it's water and it's moisture and it's so many things. It could be so many things. And so I'm just not, Are there anomalies? Yes, there are light anomalies. You want to call them orbs? That's fine. But every circle in a picture is not an orb. And here's how to tell the difference. If it's a true light anomaly, an orb that I believe is spiritual, it has generated it's generated electricity, and it's emitting its own light because it's generated that energy. So but I do believe they pull it from the environment, the slate in the ground and and things like that, and then of course electrical lines and battery operated things, but more than anything, the granite and iron, everything in the ground. I think that's where they pull it from. I think that's what allows them to stay here.
I'm going to send you a couple of links later, Jill, of some orbs, and just see what you think, because
awesome,
they're pretty incredible.
I love to see them.
One of them's almost rotating as it's moving. It's so weird to see. This guy's like a magnet to the.
Hey, Andy, going fishing. Knock this guy, John Cleveland, out of here.
He's gone.
Because I can't do it. No, he's still posting on our side anyway.
Oh, I can't see it. Well, I would love to see those.
I can't remember. It's getting late.
I would love to see those Daniela.
Yeah. Well, I'll get you info after the show, and then I'll send you them.
All right. Well, we're gonna call it quits, because I'm sure we've either entertained everybody to death or bored everybody to death. So
okay, let me say one thing. Let
Go
me
ahead.
say one thing, and you can you can go more into detail about this. But before I think we do need to give them a date. So it
Okay.
looks like the dates that I'm going to be arriving there will be the 30th of November. Now this is not set in stone. This is our tentative dates. I'll be arriving there November 30th and staying through December the 8th. And so I'll be there, for that full week. And we'll probably go live. I would say, we can do it every night for a little bit if you want. That's up to you.
Okay. That
For that.
sounds good.
And can you give Daniela my email address, please?
Yeah, I'll give you all your information.
Okay.
Just stay on. Just stay on.
Okay.
Even though, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can end it. And all right. Well, thank everybody for watching, and glad y'all got a chance to meet Jill, the mastermind behind the plan. And thank you, Daniela, for your help.
You're welcome.
And I guess we'll see y'all next time. If we catch something, we'll put it up.
And any suggestions, leave a comment.
Yeah, leave a comment if you want to suggest something for Jill to try or do when she comes back. Just leave it in the comments.
Yeah.
All right, y'all have a good night, and we'll see y'all later.
Night.
All right, bye.